The Vancouver Canucks have made another waiver claim from the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll discuss the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. Now, as I mentioned, we have some more news from the NHL waiver wire, and it's very similar to what we talked about just a few days ago. The Vancouver Canucks have claimed forward Travis Boyd off waivers from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, there's only been a few days here since they claimed forward Jimmy Vesey as well. There's two waiver claims now going to the Canucks from the Maple Leafs here in a pretty short period of time. Now, of course, as we know, the Maple Leafs have been juggling their bottom six, especially for a big chunk of the year, trying to find that exact right mix. Obviously looking to get as much flexibility with their roster to move players in and out to the taxi squad, trying to, make sure their cap space is utilized as best as possible, see what they can do for the NHL Trade Deadline coming up here less than a month away. And unfortunately, they've lost two players. Now, as I mentioned in the video when Boyd was put on waivers yesterday, it's not a make or break situation for Toronto by any means, but it is cutting into their depth that they've had here since the beginning of the year. But at the same time, more than anything, it's going to help Vancouver. Both Boyd and Vesey can likely get bigger roles and stay in the lineup more consistently, at least I would think. Boyd's been a pretty decent player. Had 3 goals, 5 assists. He had a good stretch there where he was playing a lot on the fourth line with Jason Spezza, and I really thought he was going to end up to be a mainstay. But they have so many players that they can move in and out, and they have a guy go cold a game or two. It's real easy to take him out and put somebody else in. And they have a few other players, too, that are kind of waiting for more of a chance that are waivers exempt, too, which is also going to create more playing time for them. So Boyd goes to Vancouver, along with Jimmy Vesey here, who's only been there a short time, and he should be able to get a bigger role and help Vancouver. And if they can certainly shore up their middle and bottom six, and they've been already having a pretty good streak of games here lately, Vancouver might stand a better chance here to claw their way back into the playoff race. Now, in terms of the Maple Leafs, they do have guys, like I mentioned, like Barabanov and Nick Robertson, that are waivers exempt. They can go into the lineup, back to the taxi squad, down to the minors if necessary, and they don't need waivers. So those guys are likely going to be able to get more of a chance here unless the Leafs do pull off a trade in the forward area, which we know they've been reported to be working on for some time. So clearly that could happen anytime depending on when that right deal comes along. I know NHL insider Elliot Friedman speculated that this stretch of games here that they have the next little while, which has already been going for a bit, where they've had some more off days, that would be a more opportune time to do it in case they have to isolate coming from the U.S., that they wouldn't miss as much action. But again, we saw obviously Canadian teams kind of picking off of each other here due to the fact that they can get the players to those teams without having to quarantine and then get into the NHL action much sooner. So we'll see what the Leafs are doing. I'm sure Kyle Dubas is still working on the trade front. Like I said, it gives more of a chance here to guys like Barabanov and Robertson who can come in without waivers. It also gives more of a chance for Alex Galchenyuk, who they picked up via Ottawa to Carolina to Toronto. Of course, Galchenyuk's only played a little bit with the Leafs, but he has looked pretty decent so far. Out of his main opportunity he had with Ottawa this year, I'd say he looked better so far with the Leafs, but it's a small sample size. Only time will tell how much of a chance he'll get to stick in that kind of a role in the lineup. It really boils down to what they do at the trade deadline, and if he has a regular spot in the playoffs, or if he'll end up being like a 13th or 14th forward, which could still be a possibility. It just really sees what happened here, what else they do with this roster. So we'll see what happens. Let me know, especially if you're a Canucks fan, your thoughts on picking up Travis Boyd. If you're a Leafs fan, is this something that you're upset about? How do you feel about it? Are you okay with it? How much confidence do you have in Dubas' ability to go out and make some big trades here ahead of the deadline? Because there's lots of Leaf rumors, so we'll see what they actually end up doing. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications. We'll keep you up to date with all the NHL action from all 31, soon to be 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.